You are listening to Becoming Wildly Resilient, brought to you by University of Kentucky Human Resources Health and Wellness. Join us as we explore tools, practices, meditations, and conversations with members of the UK community. Together, we will discover how we can thrive at work, home, and beyond. Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Rodquist-Kodet, health coach with the University of Kentucky Health and Wellness Program. Welcome to Becoming Wildly Resilient Practices, where we'll explore research-based tools and tips that help us thrive more in the areas of life that matter most. This month, we're talking about humility. According to the website Very Well, humility is the ability to accurately view your talents and flaws while being void of arrogance. Some believe that being humble means having low self-esteem and lack of confidence, but it's the opposite. Dr. Daryl Van Tongeren wrote an interesting book called Humble, which thoroughly outlines the research and benefits of humility, suggesting that individuals with higher levels of humility tend to have greater happiness and life satisfaction, while also experiencing less anxiety and depression. It's believed humility buffers the effects of stress on well-being and increases connection in relationships that are important to us personally and professionally by extending empathy and compassion to others. But how humble are we? How willing are you to say if you don't know something? How about admitting when you're wrong, apologizing, repairing? How about getting defensive when you're being questioned about your thoughts and beliefs or why you're doing something? As I was delving into the research for this episode, I came across the Intellectual Humility Quiz at UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center, and I thought, yeah, I better take that. I'll post the link to the quiz in the show notes so you can take it if you so desire. And full disclosure, I took it, and my score, was 35 out of 55, suggesting that while I sometimes acknowledge my own limitations and value other people's beliefs that are different than mine, it can be challenging for me to admit when I'm wrong. The quiz results then go on to say, and I quote, "It's worth it for you to try to cultivate more intellectual humility, given the benefits psychologists have linked it to showing more persistence in the face of failure, holding less polarized beliefs and attitudes, and being seen as warm and friendly by others." End quote. All right. Fortunately, the Greater Good Science Center recommends some helpful tools and research-based exercises that can help us strengthen our intellectual humility. There's 5 of them. Here we go. Number 1, ask yourself questions. When you find yourself disagreeing with someone, ask yourself, why do I disagree? Do I have all the information? Am I making assumptions? How did I come to hold this view? Where did I get my information? And then flip it around and ask yourself those same questions about the other person's view. Where did their beliefs come from? What information might they have? This is an illuminating practice, especially as we are full on election season. And my guess is you have some people in your world that see things differently than you. This idea of asking yourself questions might be a good place to begin. Number 2, try getting distance from yourself. A 2021 study found that self-distancing, which means looking at oneself like an outside observer, could increase intellectual humility. In this study, participants were asked to keep a diary over the month and write about each day's most significant event. One group wrote in the first person, and the other group wrote it in the third person. The people who wrote about it in the third person became much more intellectually humble when reflecting on interpersonal challenges. Number 3, try to be patient. According to psychologist Mark Leary, the brain evolved the capacity to think in order to guide our behavior in adaptive ways. If we assume that our understanding improves over time, then there's no reason to draw a firm conclusion until we need to act on it. When we are able to go with the best information from the most credible sources we have, it allows us to get some of the distance. And this is an invitation to simply be patient as you gather information, keep an open mind until you need to act. Number 4, seek out awe. Sometimes this can feel like we're at the center of our own universe. Experiencing awe can jolt us out of this self-focused mindset. It stirs feelings of wonder and inspiration by reminding us that we're all just one piece of this bigger puzzle. Research suggests that experiencing awe not only enhances happiness and physical health, but also helps us to feel more humble. If this is interesting to you, or if it's sounding a little bit familiar, it's because we did a whole 3 episodes in April of 2024 on becoming wildly resilient, all about awe. Check out the practice of the awe walk, which can be helpful since awe is most likely to occur in places that have 2 key factors: physical vastness and novelty. It's a great practice. I think you'll really enjoy it. And lastly, number 5, I think this is the hardest one, at least for me, maybe you too. Embrace mistakes and practice admitting you've made them. Neuropsychologist Rick Hansen says, when you discover you're wrong about something, remind yourself how it's in your own best interest to admit fault and move on. It takes a strong person to admit they made a mistake. It puts us in a stronger position with others. Research suggests people will see the strength it took to admit you made a mistake. And not only does that increase likability, it also strengthens bonds and trust. So there you have it. 5 practices to grow more humility this month. Take that intellectual humility quiz, try some of these practices, and let us know how it goes. I'm on the path with you, and I am rooting for us all. Thanks for joining me today and practicing together, because practice makes possible, and that's how we become more wildly resilient. So until next time, keep practicing and be well. Thank you for listening to Becoming Wildly Resilient. This podcast is brought to you by University of Kentucky Human Resources Health and Wellness. We offer a wide range of online and in-person services to support the well-being of UK employees, retirees, and their spouses. You can find experts in mental health, personal resilience, nutrition, and physical activity. We're ready to meet you where you are and address your unique needs. To learn more about the work-life and well-being services offered by UK Human Resources, visit hr.uky.edu/wellbeing. You can also connect with us on social media and YouTube by searching @UKY Wellness or by email at healthandwellness@uky.edu.